When I realized yesterday that I wouldn't get the chance to tell you all that I love you, I am seizing this opportunity now to tell you all that I love you. I love you all. I love my father. I love my sister. I love everybody. And yesterday, at about, I left home at about 1:15, reached to that vicinity at about 1:30, 1:35 or so. The rain was just drizzling. The water on the road was minimal. So I was going down the lane, which is about a mile long or so. At reaching about 3/4 way down, I just heard a gushing sound. And before I could realize what was happening, it was a heavy gush of water that come across and started spinning the car in the road. By the time the car spun 2 times and turned across the road, water was up to my chest. The car shut down. Now this is a car that when the engine stops, every power in the car stops. The windows can't go down, the doors cannot be open. But as I say, God has a reason. I have a defective door on the passenger side. I don't really know why I didn't fix it, but now I know the reason why it wasn't fixed, because that was the only way of escape. So I have to fight with all my might, with my 2 legs pushing that door, pushing that door. At one point I gave up because I was in it a long time trying to push and not reaching anywhere. But I heard somebody say to me, fight, Paulette, fight. So I start pushing the door again with all my might. And when I push, I feel a little crack in the door. So when I feel a crack in the door, that just give me the strength to keep pushing. And I pushed until I could squeeze through the door. When I got out through the door, I was all the way to my neck in water. Luckily, I could swim. So I started swimming, but I noticed the current of the water keep pulling me to go behind the car. So what I have to do is to keep swimming, holding on to the car, trying to get to the front of the car, which I eventually did. And I started swimming away from the car until I start feel trees and that I can hold on to, and I hold on. And I swim and I crawl and I swim and I crawl until I eventually get out of the water. It was, for me, when the car shut off, that's the time I feel like, yes, this is it. Because knowing the car, once it shut off, I am shut in the car and there's no way to get out. While I was trapped, the first thing that I saw was my children. And I said to myself, I don't even get to tell anybody goodbye. My granddaughter is basically my life. And I left her and she said, bye grandma, tomorrow. And I said, that would be the last time. Those were the things that I was thinking. And I said, I don't even get the chance to say goodbye to anybody. But the Lord have it a different way. When I heard the gush and I realized the first spin of the car, I just grabbed the phone and said to my daughter, I'm washing away in the car in Kemps Hill. And the phone just washed out my hand at the same time. Just as I gave her the message what was happening, the phone washed out my hand.
All different kind of things was going through my mind at the moment. I was like, all right then, mommy can't swim. Swim, mommy, swim. I was like, swim, mommy, swim. Then I remember that once the car is poured off, all doors are closed. So that would have been a challenge for her to come out. So I was like in my mind, kick the door, swim, mommy, swim. That's all I found myself saying.
There was absolutely no help. So the Lord was with me. I can tell you that. Because when I gave up, when the water was about here, and I gave up, I heard the voice push. And that's when I started pushing at the door again. But there was absolutely no help. When I got out, I was close to my ex-matron's gate. I went there and I knocked. I got no response. But closer on, there was a bar. 3 guys were there. They said, nurse, where you coming from? Why you look like that? And I said, my car just was away with me around the corner there. And they said, where? And they went and looked and they said they were only seeing the top of the car. But a lot of persons came to my assistance because when they pulled the car out, the persons were trying to get collect some of my things that was in there, putting them in garbage bag and all of that. The reception was real good for the relatives. I have persons all the way from Ali that came. I have a truckload from Ali that came, to find out what they can do to help. And when I got out, there's just one person beside me that knows somebody at the hospital. So I asked him to call that person and to call the supervisor at the hospital and let them know what happened to me.
What was your family's reaction?
It was mixed emotions. There were tears. I couldn't cry. They cried. Some trying to get me out the wet clothes at the same time, some trying to bathe me at the same time. It was an experience that I wouldn't wish for anybody else to have. It was no good at all.
What was my reaction? I was at my neighbor next door over there. I was like, thank God I just fell on the veranda chair that was over there when I heard her on the phone, and she was like, the phone washed away when I was talking to you, and I'm like, all right, thank God she's fine. Well, she sounds fine. I just want to see her now to be sure that she is fine.
I went to the doctor today because I'm feeling pain, no physical scars, but I'm pained up all over. And I haven't slept since yesterday. My daughter told me that I dozed off once last night, but all I was doing is screaming. At that time, I think I still had my composure then. But when I saw where the truck went for the car and it was coming out, that's when I said, Jesus, God. I couldn't hold it then. That's where I break down. When I noticed where the truck went for the car. But it was a very, very painful, awful experience. I was trapped and there was no way for me to go. There was no help, but the Lord was there. He helped me through. It was real terrible. It was really terrible. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that was there, everybody that helped me physically, mentally, psychologically. I just want to say thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you for the calls. Thank you for the prayers. Right now I'm just mentally derailed, but I am physically okay. Thank you all.